west, up Sierra Cross, makes the turn, goes back out to Pickwick. Neighboring properties right through there. See, this property actually has channel on 3 sides, around the pencil. Disher's home. Move back around to where the carport is proposed. Next shot's going to be on the channel side, just to give perspective where it's going to be in the relationship. So you can see that or that paved area based off the site plan will not be any further out than the existing shed construction. For this hearing, legal ad did properly appear in the newspaper and by affidavits, Ryan, which were notified.
Name is Deborah Grothaus, and I think you just read off everything, so.
Correct that it won't be, it's going to be at the edge of the paved area, not any closer to the channel?
No, it'll line up exactly where the shed's at.
You're the one that has the gazebo.
Yes,
The backyard that's hanging out over the seawall,
yes.
which that's a violation.
Oh,
Probably needs a permit if we didn't look into it on this one, but I think they need to investigate that. I don't know.
Okay.
It's been up.
okay. Didn't know that.
Is there anyone here in favor of this project? Anyone here opposed?
Nothing on file.
We'll close the meeting to public comment. I'm gonna go ahead and approve it,
Oh, thank you.
and then we'll look into the gazebo
Okay,
or
okay.
Come on
Yes,
in and we can talk to you, probably looking at flood permits at minimum. Maybe you need to work with the DNR.
okay. Okay,
okay?
sounds great. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
All right. Next hearing is variance 2025-94 for Garland Daughtry, and this petition would permit allowing a pond to remain with newly created property lines 30 foot to the west, 17 foot from the south, 19 foot from the road right of way. Property is located on the south side of Sierra 25 and 1,242 feet east of 700 West in Seward Township. Aerial shows it best. Right here, right there's the pond in question. The pond is actually pre-existing, was dug without permits by, I'm assuming, the current property owner there. What they're looking at doing, you can see the red line going around, they're looking at trying to get new property lines, which then would be closer than our ordinance allows. So really, the issues of pond being created without a permit closer to the right of ways. Right through the aerial, you can see the video doesn't really show it well. We're off 25, just past Palestine's curve. And down there, pretty well grown up. If you didn't really know it was there, you just think it was a wet spot for the most part behind it. At least to the north, back down towards Palestine. And Kitchener's home, which is right adjacent to it. My understanding. And this shot just kind of give you a little bit more. It's pretty overgrown. It was originally built, it was open, and you can see it a lot better. For this hearing, legal, I did properly appear in the newspaper and by affidavits, Ryan.
Hi, I'm Janice Bowling. I'm here for my brother because he's in hospital. He couldn't be here.
Janice, am I correct that he lives at 6759 and he's looking at purchasing this
Yes.
additional? Okay, I was correct there. And he's not the one who dug the pond. My
No, he's the
understanding.
farmer.
It was the farmer.
You don't have any more information.
Anything additional that you want us to add on this or?
No, just that.
Okay. Is there anyone here in favor of this project? Is there anyone here opposed? Close the meeting, public comment. I'll go ahead and approve it, but as far as it can never get any bigger.
So you can't expand it. He could, if he needs to dredge it or deepen it, we'll let him do that. He will need to get a permit for it as well, but because he's not the one who dug it, it won't be as, an after fact like normal. Any questions?
No.
All right, just sometime within the next 30 days.
Okay, thank you.
It's the farmers, maybe it's only that, yeah, so. All right, next two we can take together, same property, slightly different questions. First one is accepted 2025-36 for John and Ann LaRue. And this petition for acceptance of purpose line construction of an oversized building where ordinance allows 576 square foot in a residential district. Property is located on the southeast side of C22 Lane and 773 feet west of Chapman Lake Drive in Plain Township. Along with that, we have variance 2025-95 for John and Ann LaRue, which is petition for variance with construction of a detached garage 18 feet from the right of way of the road and 5 feet from the side property line. Minimum setback would be 25 and 10. Property is located on the southeast side of C22 Lane and 723 feet west of Chapman Lake Drive in Plain Township. We're right next to Camp Fishing Pond. Right there is the property in question. You can see right now it's got a mobile home and kind of a, I don't know what the structure is, but a light structure. That is proposed to go, and then this is what the petitioner is planning to put back on there. Look at the site plan right there. We Camp Fishing Pond. Public right of way goes straight to access a few houses. The road that curves off to the side is actually the camp's road. It gets used interchangeably sometimes as a turnaround, but not really. The main road is right here. Around. That's the property where the structure is. Again, that goes. Next is just on the shot. Now I'm looking at it from the campsite. You can see the seasonals all across the dirt road there. That structure right there, petitioner's house, right across the road, right there. Back around. Back to the property question. For this hearing, legal ad did properly appear in the newspaper and by updates surrounding owners were notified. The 18-foot is from the main EMS, like not this dirt road all the side.
Good morning. I'm John. I'm John LaRue, the owner. We just purchased this last year. We own the cabin that's directly across the street. I'm an old contractor. I really wanted to clean it up, get rid of that, put something that's nice, bring it up to date, combine both properties into one tax parcel. We really would like to see the 18-foot setback from the overhang. The lane is so small that it, we see so many other structures that are pushed right up to the road. We don't want anything like that. We just want to clean it up, make it nice. We'd only have one entrance, which would be from the main road. We'll just do a little apron there and kind of enhance the neighborhood, so to speak. It needs some help.
Yeah, it does.
Okay. Income is, it said you could possibly make it 20 foot.
We would, that's okay. If we,
Because it is such a narrow lane.
you're right. I understand you on that.
I mean, I could go with the 5 foot side setbacks
Okay,
and then make it 20 foot back from them.
that's fine. We actually put that in as an alternate is there,
Yeah, that's,
and that's fine.
okay.
Okay.
Is there anyone here in favor of this project? Anyone here opposed?
Nothing on file.
Close the public comment. Approve it at 20 foot and 5 foot on the side.
I appreciate
And as
it.
presented, that's combined with.
You're right.
All right. All right. Thank you very much.
next hearing is variance 2025-96 for Greg and Debbie Roberts. And this petition for a variance which permits the alteration of a granted exception by allowing the construction of an open deck 0 feet from an adjacent unit and 32 feet from the water's edge. Property is located on the north side of 4th Street and 138 feet east of 13 in Tippecanoe Township. We're in Joyland Mobile Home Park. Right there is the petitioner's unit. What they're proposing to do, Randy, is bring a deck out off that mobile home right there. And it will be within 32 feet of the water's edge and 0 feet to the, from the unit to the north, called northeast. Right there's their main channel, around park on one side of the channel, see family homes on the other. See them with a deck right there. And again, envision a deck coming out over that hill. Very similar to what they've done right there. And again, deck at that side will be 0 feet from the petitioner's or the neighbor's property. For the hearing, legal ad did properly appear in the newspaper and by affidavit surrounding owners were notified. If you remember right, Randy, this one we actually had a blanket back in 24, and there were 2 items. If the things were closer than a certain setback, this one didn't fall into that blanket. But as a condition, 2 of the items that they requested was one, their park board. They have a owners, what I'm going to call owners association board sign off. You have that in file. And then also sign off from that affected phase owner. So that part we don't.
Hi, I'm Debbie Roberts. Yes, my husband Greg and I would just like to build a deck out. From that picture, the flat land is only about 4 feet or so. So we don't have any outdoor area at all to sit in. And we feel like it would be safer to have a deck out there than just, we have grandchildren, that hill goes down and then it's flat and it goes down again. So yeah, basically coming straight out from that left side of the room there and then move the stairway over right next to our neighbor's deck. And it would be the same depth from the water as the deck that you saw, yes, because theirs is actually 32 feet also. 32 feet straight out. The hills, both hills actually come up like so probably be taller than that. But yes, so that's it. We really like it for outdoor area, and it's a little safer with our grandkids and everybody that comes.
Okay. They're on the left side of the picture.
Uh-huh.
The canoes and the property there.
Mhm.
How do they feel about you coming out to 0?
Well, that is not the side that we're coming out to 0.
Yeah, the side that's coming out.
It's to the other side.
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
job.
that's
So-
the angle. So that,
Right, so right there underneath their window is a planter box about so wide. And we're just gonna build up to that, and then our staircase will be straight. I mean, they were petitioned also. I mean, they got a letter, so.
have you got anything in writing from those folks at all? Because that was one of the things that was done at the last hearing by, I think, represented by your board.
Yes, well, yes, the one that says Culberson on top of that trailer, she is on the board and they approved it. Yeah, I think you have a copy of the email stating that Kylie Culberson approved. She's one of them that approved the request for the deck.
It would have been, because they wrote it from the board. That's the only thing I'd say, just for consistency, to have a letter strictly from her as well, just a secondary letter. That way, they reflected the board's feelings, and even though she's on the board, we can't assume that it was unanimous necessarily. That would be my recommendation.
Well, yeah, and then we'd have something that shows, because they're not gonna live there forever.
Right,
And we can't approve something giving you permission to trespass on their property to maintain yours. That's why we want a letter stating
okay.
and we can add that in your file,
And
so you don't have problems down the road.
you would consider making that a condition of
Yeah.
approval, not necessarily have to make them come back.
That condition of approval.
Right. I mean, it's not directly up to the house, but it's up to their, which is actually our property because it's supposed to be a foot around the whole.
Do you think there'll be a problem getting the letter?
Oh, no, I don't think they're, I mean, a lot of people's decks there are built up to one another anyway,
Right.
like the other two.
Fire hazards.
I
Yeah,
guess the.
well, there's not 10 feet between any of us.
If one of them catches fire, they're all of them.
Yeah, and that's why there's a lot of things in place there as far as safety that we have anyway, so.
Yeah, just the way that they presented to us and what the board ended up approving for consistency purpose, I think we need a separate letter just from her as the owner of that unit, not just as a board member, but as that unit owner as well.
Okay.
Okay.
So she just send it to you. Is there an email that she can send that
Yes.
to or?
Same email that they sent the other one to is fine.
Okay,
And then with that, then if you approve it, that would open the door for us to issue the permit.
okay, okay.
Okay, is there anyone here in favor of this project? Anyone here opposed? Close the meeting to public comment, and I'll approve it as presented with the letter from the neighbor,
Okay,
Owner of lot 17.
from lot 17, before you get your permit.
okay. So then I just get the permit online? Is that what you
Apply
were
for
saying?
it online, that's an option.
Or just come back
Or
for
come
it?
Back in the office, yeah.
Okay, so,
And if she's not sure why we're at, feel free to have her get a hold of me.
Okay.
That was kind of what they laid out to us, that the board accepted, so.
Okay.
Like
Okay.
by their, well, at that point. So,
all right,
all
thank you.
All right, the next one we pick up is exception 2025-37 for Jason Bub, and this is a petition for the purpose of allowing a U-Haul rental in a commercial district. Property is located on the east side of Walnut Street and 154 feet south of Railroad Street in Etna Township. Right there's the property in question, Randy, right there in the town of Etna Green, right next to the park. So I am actually sitting or standing in the property right there. Park area would be right there. If you look at the site plan, there's a platted right of way that comes down. The park's actually in the right of way. That's how they developed it. And then there's an alley that accesses off the back. The old mill is on a separate track route right there. See the old foundations for the mill. That home is off to the east. Here's the alley in question. Again, that's the primary access is shown on the site plan. Background to the property in question here. Next shot's gonna be up a little further. Give me a little different perspective. Again, it's hard to count, wasn't even up, no. Town hall. Back around. Remember that property right there, when you have her here. Property. Back right. Again, you all business, you can see the site plan, proposed layout. For this hearing, legal active properly appear in the newspaper and by affidavit, right, we're notified.
Yes. His name is Jaron, also
Yes,
not
hi.
Jason. I don't know if that matters or not.
A Jaren Bob.
Karen, okay,
Okay.
that was the type one.
Just making sure.
Yep.
So we talked to all the neighbors. Everyone seems like they're
Your name
wanting.
for the.
I'm Jesse. They're his father.
Jaren.
Jesse Will. So we talked to all the neighbors around. Everyone seems pretty happy with it. Right now, they're using it as their parking for the one place, but we told them what was going on. We're also wanting to keep that food pantry open because it sucks to take that away from the community. So that was the only part with that one building that was in that lot. We're such a small town. I don't see anything bigger than what they have of that truck that's already parked in it anyways. that's not ours, but there's plenty of room for a few trucks and trailers. This is his first job, him wanting to do his own business and getting him set up in life. And currently it's other people use it or he gets to use it and we own it.
Yeah.
Even though everyone else uses it.
Jaron, I know I talked to you on the phone because the site plan shows an exit onto 19. And is that still the plan?
No,
The back road / like the previous picture you set with the entrance to the park, that was going to be the main exit and entrance.
we have town permission for that because it is public. And I also own the buildings across straight from that road, except for the corner one. When you look at the other, obviously you'll see what we own, but we did get permission for either going straight out over, and then we also have permission. You can go straight all the way down past my buildings.
The alley?
Yeah.
To the east?
Or you can go out to the park. I already talked about it, that I would maintain those tree things if people think that they're in the way, but I don't think they're in the way. And then we also, since the granary needs room for some of their semis, I wasn't going to put a fence up. And part of not putting a fence up, we get to also use that entrance in the front, as long as I don't.
Do you have anything in writing to that?
No, but I
No.
can get it. We could, it's simple.
So they're gonna be parking their semis over here as well?
No, they just need it to, when they get deliveries, he said they needed to have like 3 or 4 feet on the one side to go to be able to back up into the building.
Maneuver.
Yeah. Because if we put a fence up, he won't be able to run out of there. And so that's why we shut down on wanting the fence, because it's not fair. I don't want to shut down other people's businesses. We're all here to be happy. And I also told him I would maintain if there's any damage, anything, which I'm smaller than what he would ever be running on his, that I would put new gravel down and get any low spots and fill it in with the gravel. So he was more than happy with that. I also gave him permission that he'd be able to put a sign up if it was legal for him for advertising for his business.
Well, you have to do the permitting.
Well, I know that. I'm just saying.
This might be difficult.
Yeah. Yep. So currently it's used as a parking lot. We're just hoping that we could use it for a parking lot.
So the little existing sheds.
It is a food pantry for the town. I don't want to, I mean, I'll move it if I have to, but it's the only one in town. And it's used. So, I mean, I want to kind of keep that there to help out the community. If not, I can buy another piece of land somewhere and stick it. But I figure this is more safe for people because there's a lot of other people around.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone here in favor of this project?
You have a letter from the town of support.
Anyone here opposed? We'll close the meeting to public comment. I'm going to go ahead and approve it as presented.
Thank you.
With the little food shed still staying.
Thank you.
And written
Thank you.
Permission from the mill.
Yeah, and that's the permission from the mill to use their road cut.
Yep.
Okay?
That'd be awesome. Thank you.
We need
Thank
that before you start operating.
Okay,
Yep. Cool.
perfect.
So I just go, and then for the permit and everything. So we just need to get a letter, come to you.
So really, no permit, there's no structures being.
No, there's
built.
nothing. It's all
So
there.
we would just need that before we start using it for the business.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Next hearing is variance 2025-97 for Jeffrey Katzer. In this petition for variance to permit allowing the pond to remain 20 feet from adjacent property when ordinance requires 200 feet to adjacent property. So that property is located on the northwest side of Levi Lee Road and 2,091 feet southwest of Katzer here. Up to the end. All right, Price. Is Price here?
Yes.
All right. Is anybody, I'm sorry, yeah, is anybody from Katzer at all? Or you have a letter on the file, but no. Okay. All right, with that, then we'll jump to price, and that is exception 2025-38 for Aaron Price. Right there. This is a petition for acceptance for the purpose of allowing a home-based business martial arts studio in an existing accessory building with a 60 by 66 addition in an ag district. Property is located on the south side of 100 South and 0 feet east of 775 West in Harrison Township. Right there's the property in question, Randy, right on the corner of the intersection. The river actually, well, Major Creek runs right behind the property. And around us, looking to the north, back down towards east, additional home back in the trees right there, and the building. Next shot is showing it a little better. There is the building. I'm going to zoom in. It's the red building, which they're going to be operating out. The other building's on the adjacent property there. 775 is the dirt road, going down to the west now. Intersection. About where the new drive is even shown on the site plan. So, for this hearing, legal ad did properly hear the newspaper and by the surrounding owners were notified. Look at the site plan, it shows the existing building, petitioner's house, and then potential addition right there with a parking area coming off 75 with the drive.
Yeah, I'm Aaron Price. This is my wife, Stacy Price, and that's basically it. We just want to add onto that barn that was an old horse barn into our old horse pasture there coming out, just like you said, and then the road coming off with a little parking lot where people can park to teach martial arts out of there. So that's basically it. It's not going to be a huge, real huge project or anything that's real disturbing to anybody. It's basically just going to be a big building that we can put mats in and some locker rooms and stuff like that so people can change. And that's primarily it. Yeah.
And Aaron, you know you're going to have to work with state.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yeah, they talked to us about that we'll have to contact them if they need any permits or anything. So I actually talked to my neighbor behind me that owns that building there, and then another one that's the other way, and he just put that other one up, and he had to go through all that with the septic and all that, and he kind of talked to me about it, and it seemed to be too big of an issue for him. So
Pretty much assuming everything's going to be inside.
yeah, everything will be inside.
You might open the door.
Yeah, maybe, but yeah, no, everything will be inside. There won't be anything external other than the parking lot there. So.
Okay, is there anyone here in favor of this project? Anyone here opposed?
Nothing on file either way.
Close the meeting, public comment. I'm gonna go ahead and approve it as presented.
Thank you, gentlemen. Have a great day.
When you're ready for permits, just get a hold of us. We'll start walking through it.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Take care, guys.
Thanks. Right. Next one is 2025-99 for Colin Young, and this petition permits the change and alteration of non-conforming seasonal mobile home park by allowing a road to remain over existing decking, 31 feet from the water's edge and 2.6 feet from an adjacent unit. Property is located on the north side of Backwater and 125 feet east of W25 Lane in Tippecanoe Township. Right there's the unit in question. We are right at that park, right before the tubes. So we're still on that west side of the tubes. We were out here not too long ago for a different edition, but this is we're on the opposite side back on the channel. We're looking right there at that roof that was put on without permits. This park does not have blankets, so anything that they do that doesn't meet requirements does have to have hearings. So if you look at the video, again, asking to leave that roof extension as it sits. Right, backwater, right there, tubes. Come back around to the adjacent unit with 2.6. Petitioners right there, or neighbors to the petitioners will be in next month actually. And they are asking for a very similar request. So on right there. For the hearing, legal ad did properly appear in the newspaper and by affidavit probably knows we're notified.
I put that roof on.
Your name.
Colin Young. We leased that land. I talked to the people that we leased it from. They said, yeah, go ahead and do it. I didn't think I needed a permit, but I did it. So that's all I can say.
Good thing is they're affecting their neighbors. I mean, that's the only ones who are being impacted.
Yeah.
The neighbors were supportive when I was out there. It sounds like they're here next month.
Okay, is there anyone here in favor of this project? Anyone here opposed? Opposed, meeting, public comment. Gonna go ahead and approve it as presented, but you're gonna have to pay an after the fact permit.
Okay,
That'd be $125,
okay,
okay?
okay.
So anytime within the next 30 days, just come on in or get online.
And you'll take a check or I need to bring
Check,
cash?
card.
Okay,
Yep,
all right, thank you.
you're welcome. All right. Next one we can hear is 2025 39 for Aaron Schwartz. And this petition for the purpose of allowing a home-based business wood finishing in an ag district. Located on the south side of 850 north and 650 feet west of 700 west in Scott Township. Right there's petitioner's property in question. And what they're asking for is a home-based business that will be operating out of that building right there based off the site plan. And we're looking at wood finishing right there. Back off to the west. One home to the north there, farm. Down to the east, a little further down, there's another home. Back around to the property here. Next shot's just a different angle, kind of giving you perspective of the farm. District has planted some arborvitae for screening along there. So it's, I don't know if there's gonna be outside storage or not, but there is some screening as well. For the hearing, legal ad did properly appear in the newspaper and by affidavit surrounding the rumors were noted.
I'm Aaron Schwartz. Yeah, I guess just pretty much what he said is what I'm after, so.
What's the model with the business? Maybe will it be outside storage?
Okay, so the company we're working for, they're going to be bringing one semi-trailer. The trailer will just be sitting outside. They'll swap it out each week. And, I mean, that'll really be the only outside.
Is that gonna be parked right there?
Or, I'm not sure yet.
Okay.
I mean, it'll be on the outside somewhere, yes.
How many employees?
Right now, we've got 3. That's 3 to 4 employees.
And so wood finishing, are we talking staining? Are we talking?
Staining, clear coats. That's, yeah, staining, clear coats. Some paint as well. I mean, just, yeah, paint, staining, clear coats, so.
Okay, is there anyone here in favor of this project? Anyone here opposed? Close the meeting to public comment. Go ahead and approve it as presented.
Okay, so as far as the issue, or get my permit from here, what?
Earliest you can get the permit would be this afternoon,
Okay,
just sometime within the next 30 days.
and I just get with area planning again? Okay, perfect, thank you.
Okay, next case, next two cases we can take together, same property, slightly different questions. We are out on Venetian Drive. First one is variance 2025-100 for Dwayne Chubb. This is a variance to permit the construction of a second residence on a single parcel, located on the north side of Sunrise Drive and 0 feet east of Venetian Drive in 33 Township. Along with that, we have variance 2025-101 for Dwayne Chubb, and this is petition for variance to permit the construction of a new residence 20 feet from the right of way and 20 feet from the water's edge, 5 feet from both of the properties located on the north side of Sunrise Drive, 0 feet east of Venetian. Right there's the property in question. We're right on the corner of Venetian and Sunrise, and this property right there, that garage, detached garage, you can see in the picture goes. Right there is the existing residence that's on the track. Proposal is to leave that. That's your first request to then allow 2 residences, 1 tract of ground. Looking off to the west, down towards Tranter's new house. Looking across the water. That's a new one that we had there. Back around. Again, right there, that garage goes, and that's the location of the new house you can see on the site. Next shot, we're on that eastern line. So again, no setback variance off the sideline, but at this point, 25, and if you look at the site plan, Randy, kind of say it's back, right with the, say, who's driving it on. Coming around. The structure there had a number of different little ones up last. Next shot's gonna be back on the water side, right here. There's the boat well that they'll be within 5 foot of. So again, deceiving when you think about it, that boat well comes in. That'll be the backside channel. See there at home cross, that'll be on the sand drift back into there. Bridge, again, the existing house that's on the track right there. The house will be extending out where they cut down the trees there. Shots just a little bit different perspective there. For the hearing, legal ad did properly appear in the newspaper and by affidavit surrounding owners were notified.
Steve Snyder on behalf of the petitioner. As Matt indicated, we're looking for a couple variances for a new structure, 20 feet from the right of way, 20 feet from the water, and 5 feet from the boat well. Will meet the 10-foot sideline setback on the east. And then, of course, the second is we want to keep the existing residence that's clear at the far north end of the parcel and construct a new residence, roughly 1,500 square feet, on the existing open area after the garage is removed. A couple points to note, Matt suggested removal of the shed. It's going to be gone, and removal of the fence, it's going to be gone. Fence may be a safety issue, but Dwayne doesn't want it, so it will come out. We have a very irregularly shaped lot, as you can tell from the survey that's attached to the aerial. And we're trying to make sure we fit this within that, providing adequate setback, especially from the street, because of the curve on Sunrise Drive right there. And there is a reasonable amount of traffic on that road at the intersection of Venetian Drive. We'll keep that intersection very open. As you can see from the site plan, the garage is actually on the west side of the house, and access will be as it is now with parking on the west side of the new structure. And we're not really changing anything from that standpoint other than adding a little bit of parking area to the west. But there will be no backing out onto Sunrise or Venetian from that area. There'll be more than adequate space to turn around on the site before a car comes out. But the garage will be on the west side with no opening on the south side of the house. That's all residence, so we don't have to worry about any space in that setback between Sunrise Drive and the new structure. 20 25.57 feet to the roof line. So we actually meet the sideline setback or the street setback there, 10 feet on the east sideline and 5 feet from the boat well. The boat well is what it is. It's covered. You can't get them anymore, so you certainly don't want to lose it, but we don't want to try and stay 35 feet back from that boat well. We already have one residence that's very close to the water's edge, roughly 3.5 feet. We want to keep that residence, but we'll move the new one back at the closest point, 20.26 feet to the gutter. That's not an unusual setback. We're at the corner of the channel, so we have virtually no effect on anyone else. We already have the boat well canopy that will remain, and the new structure is reasonably placed in light of the other structures in that area. We've got a corner channel, so we're not obstructing anyone's view of the channel because we're at the end of the channel. We would like to maximize the use of the lot. Obviously, they are expensive properties, and if we can construct it as shown on the site plan, we think we've protected the safety issue regarding Sunrise Drive, and at the same time preserved open space between the house, the new house, and the channel, and provided plenty of off-street parking.
No problem putting the standard condition on that. Not
Yeah.
separate.
Right, no problem.
Is there anyone here in favor of this project?
Hi, we're Dave and Karen McAvoy. We're the owners of the vacant lot.
And Amy's here too.
Oh, hi.
Off to the east,
We're the vacant lot that is
on the other side of the property.
correct. And then we own the property across the
You
street
can
as
see our
well.
white garage right
See
there. Oops. So there's our white, oops.
In there.
Yep, that's our fence right there.
That's our fence, and then we're the
We have
empty
the,
lot on the right, if you go scroll the other way.
It'll get back.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead.
So we're the empty lot on the right, and then we have the home across the street. And so we're trusting, you obviously have to make decisions under the statute. We're going to build a home on the empty lot, keep the home across, and then we're going to retire full-time at the lake. We have with a bunch of grandkids. And we want to be really good neighbors on the whole thing. And so we understand that it's supposed to be single residence and the like. Our biggest thing about two properties is that if we're going to do it, we'd prefer like there be a condition that the second property is not commercial, Airbnb, all that. We prefer the neighborhood to be residences and not a bunch.
That's gonna be in the deed governance that's gonna be put on the deed, that it's only for family use only.
So you can't do Airbnb.
So it's a standard condition.
You can't rent it, can't lease it.
All right, so that's fine on that, that's good. And then we understand the issue with it's an irregularly shaped lot. And so we want to be flexible with that. We don't really have any opposition from the setback variance from the channel or the like. The one thing, and you guys, and I'm sure Steve knows more, it is an irregularly shaped curve. Literally, when I drove out today, backing up, she had to say to me, "You're going to back into two trucks that are speeding around this curve." And so we've got grandkids. We just want to make sure that the setback from the road is safe. And so I don't know, maybe a compromise is King Solomon cut the baby in the middle.
Can you tell us, on,
You've seen the site plan?
No.
no, we haven't been attention to
The existing
anything.
garage sits a lot closer here.
Yeah.
The main structure's gonna be 25, which is 25 is our minimum.
Okay.
Where they're asking for 20, right here on this corner, right there.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay, so it's gonna stay here at 25 or?
It's gonna meet the 25-foot setback. at
Okay,
that
so,
point.
so right here, it meets what the law says.
Correct.
Okay, so the only variance is off of this main road.
Correct.
I see what you're saying.
See,
What's the
when
normal?
when we park a car right here, which our structure will be right here, and you try to back out a car right here, we're afraid that we cannot see around here and it's a safety.
But you're
issue.
saying it'll stay the same.
But you're saying it will not go any further back than what it already
Should
is.
be further back than where it is.
Further toward
The water.
I see, so that's good. That's good.
good.
And so then the garage will be over on this side, so the cars will park over here.
So everybody parks this way, no one parks on this side.
Can't control 100% where they park, but yeah, that would be the
So this is the side of the house that faces this way? Is that what you're seeing?
I haven't seen the architectural drawings there, but this is where the garage here. I'll do you one better. Have that one.
I have a question. So is where they're entering the property to park, is the driveway here? Is the driveway here?
I'm
My house is right here. That's
I'm
what
assuming, and he'll answer this, but I'm assuming the drive's gonna stay pretty close to about the same spot.
It's over off of here.
It's off of
This
this.
is the current
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so right there. So that's the question he can answer.
Since
when
the
he
fence
gets
is
to
up there right now, you couldn't pull it
Yep.
off of Sunrise. So that's why I'm asking. There's a fence that goes along there and,
That's where I walked in, Sunrise.
okay, I looked there, the fence goes all the way to the edge.
So
So
she's talking about the chain
I'm
link
talking about
fence
this.
right there in the front.
right there, it technically.
There's a fence.
You
Yep,
can't
it's-
pull in off of Sunrise.
well,
You're on Venetian right now. You are on Venetian. Yeah.
Disagree, but okay, yeah.
She's the blue house
I'm
right
right- I'm
across
right
the
here.
street.
Okay,
Yep.
and the chain link fence goes to the edge right there. So I'm asking if the
Okay.
driveway's going here
I-
or there.
Good question for the answer.
So, okay, so what's the normal setback?
25 foot is our minimum,
Okay,
which is what you
That's
folks would
probably
be
what
held
I had
to.
to do
Yep.
when I built 2 years ago.
okay, so I
So
got,
this is less than that. I wasn't allowed to come out further.
Correct. And,
Yes.
well, I don't know. I,
Yeah, I had to come through this process.
okay.
Mhm.
I have,
So,
well, I'm pleased on this side, it just stays at 25 feet, because even now, there's a driveway that comes out, and our other neighbor, I think just the new owners of the time, is parking his large truck, so you can't see, like when you're pulling out. So if there's no, it would be better on.
Will that driveway, you might be
You'll
able
get
to.
a chance to answer if you want.
Oh,
You wanna
okay, is
answer
that
all
how
the
it works?
questions?
I
Yeah,
didn't
if you
know
want to
how it
answer all,
works.
but ask.
You
Yeah.
can, yeah. He said.
Okay, well, I think that is better. So we'll see.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's kind of hard to understand what the questions are when there are three people talking at once, but I think I've got an idea. The access that shows on the aerial is going to be the access that continues for the new residents. It will come in same place off Sunrise Drive. There won't be any auto parking between the south edge of the house and the right-of-way of Sunrise. That's a 25-foot setback. We meet the requirement, but there won't be any parking over there anyway. We know visibility is an issue right there. We want to maintain that visibility. We don't want to create any hazards. With the garage where it is on the plans, we can come in from the same access and have plenty of space to turn around in that parking access, because it will be a little larger, and never have to pull out onto Sunrise or Venetian we won't have to back out on it. We'll be able to have plenty of visibility. We're not changing the visibility essentially at all. The 2 points that are the 20, or 3 points actually, that are the 20-foot setback from Sunrise are in the straight portion of Sunrise. And again, we've got plenty of visibility that's always going to be available there. Certainly, we'll impose the appropriate covenant prohibiting the rental of one separate from the other. That's not an issue. We think we've done a pretty good job of fitting this on a lot that's very irregular, especially with the boat well, but preserving the open visibility of that intersection of Venetian and Sunrise.
Thank you, Steve. Closed meeting, now public comment.
No, we're not closing.
We didn't get any questions.
We didn't get any rebuttal.
You didn't ask.
Well-
I asked for demonstrators.
You're talking about the gentleman behind.
Yeah.
I don't think you asked. And you said let him answer the questions and then do we get our chance to ask the questions?
Now, once he,
I don't think he clarified. Where's the driveway going? Is it going to Venetian or? is
The
it
same
going to-
spot it is now.
Please point to that.
Where it is right now.
And you're standing in front of it. Standing in front of it. You're standing, you can't see. Okay, on to Venetian.
Or is it on the Sunrise?
It's both. If you look at this, it comes out here.
The fence goes all the way to that point right
That's
there.
just coming out.
You know, that's why we're
Right,
asking
and
where the.
That's why we're asking where the driveway would be.
You know where the driveway is now?
Yes, I live across the street.
It'll be in the same place.
Okay. Okay.
And then
So
what
it
about,
would be Venetian.
so it's Venetian, it's not, it doesn't come out on Sunrise.
It's not, there's,
Well,
there is no driveway.
You can
It's
see
gravel.
It's at the exact spot it's gonna be now, right, Steve?
right there.
Yeah.
Is where it is. It's partially on Venetian, mostly on Sunrise. It's gonna be exactly the same place, right, Wayne?
Okay, and then what is, when you have the shed, the garage that you're taking off, you see the parking pad that's right beside
As
it?
I indicated when I made the statement, there will be no parking on that side of the house.
Okay, so that'll be all grass then through there then,
It
so
may be
that's,
grass or landscaping, but
Sure.
there won't be any parking.
okay, very good. So then when we pull out from our structure, which is the parking pad next to it, we'll have a clear vision of this corner right
You'll
here.
have 25 feet, which is the required setback,
Okay,
and
that's
we're
great.
not asking for a variance there.
Okay,
I'll get it.
thank you for clarifying.
Steve, take your pen in.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Go ahead and come forward.
My name's David Sands. We own the property across the channel from where they're gonna build. And we're just asking that the setback from the water is like 27 feet instead of 20. Since the one structure that's there is right on the water, maybe just pushing it back a little bit to have it a little more open for what we can see.
There?
Yeah, that's our property. So we're just asking to push the setback from the water back some.
Just to respond to what David was indicated, it doesn't have any effect on him whether it's at 20 feet or 27 feet. He's going to be looking at the house either way he goes. And his view, if he has a view, is of the channel, and we're not going to be interfering with that at all.
Okay, we're gonna close the meeting, public comment. As far as the British variance, I'm gonna approve it as presented with the deed restrictions on. And we're gonna approve the second one as presented also. Because it's not gonna obstruct anybody's view. And primarily consistent with a lot of residents down that channel. Thank you. Okay.
Variance.
All right. Next case we have is exception 2025-42 for Stephen Hill, and this is a petition for first allowing camping use by allowing one camper to be used occasionally by the current owner in an ag district. Property is located on the north side of 650 north and 492 feet east of 500 east in Tippecanoe Township. Right here is the property in question. Petitioners have 18 acres on the north side of 650 north. What they're proposing to do is pull a camper in and camp there off and on. If this was a permanently set structure, we could treat it as a residence, as long as it wasn't being moved in and out, or they'd have to get a permit each time, go through that process. What they're wanting is more of a transient type situation, I believe, and that's what's triggering this hearing. Right there's the property in question. You can see the gate into the main area, and I'm standing right at the drive, looking down 650, down towards the new subdivision. Got the Oaks out there. It's down to the south. Back up the road down towards Calorama. Back. Property. Next shot's right up the gate. Just give me an idea. Cleared out area through there, and that would be what I assume is about the approximate location of the camping situation. Let's see for the hearing. For this hearing, legal ad did properly appear in the newspaper and by affidavit. Surrounding owners were notified. Ron.
She'll have to talk. I didn't hear anything he said.
He's hard of hearing.
Your name first.
My name is Anita Combs Hill. I'm Steve's wife. It's our joint property. He's been camping, this property's been in his family since 1807. He's camped there for like 30 years. Okay, we just went in and we wanted to get an address for this piece of land. And they said, and why? And I said, because we have a camper there that when we come and we maintain, we mow. Where that dirt is usually grass, but we had some timber that was lumbered out of there, and now we gotta replant it all over again and clean up everything. But we want the camper there because we're older, we live 2 hours away, and we want to stay there when we're working on the property.
And plus, we want to enjoy our property.
I mean, we want to enjoy it. That's why we have it. We kept it in the family so that we can enjoy it. And we just want to put our camper there. We don't want a campground. We just want our camper there, and we don't want to have a permit every time we take the camper out because we do travel. So.
And that's the trick. If it was there permanently, yeah, we wouldn't even have to, we could treat it as a residence.
Yeah.
We keep it stored there. It's there most of the year.
What do you do about sewage and water?
It's self-contained, and we signed an affidavit with the health department saying that we do not dispose of waste on the property. We take it to an RV station and have it serviced.
Jellystone is just down the road, 6-8 miles, something like that. They got a dump station.
And no well on the property. You're not drawing. You fill up and then bring it in.
Right. We bring bottled water in. We really don't much use the facilities in the camper.
Okay.
You come to one trade, but you got a family that comes and stays with you? Or?
No, it's a very small camp. There's just enough room for him, me, and our dog.
Yeah, you wouldn't want, it's not much bigger than your table.
It's not a big camper.
But we do have nieces and nephews come out and spend the day,
But they're not using the camper and they're not bringing additional campers. It's just our home on wheels.
You could look at approving it for these owners only, and then that way, if a new owner came in, you'd have a chance to talk with them. That might be an option.
Yeah. Because I hate to say yes to a camper, then the 4th of July weekend, you have
No,
the
no,
family in and the 10 campers.
And not that, these folks sound like they know what they're doing, they're using it, they're dumping off site. Another user may not be as diligent about
That's
that.
right.
Then we'd get into that in the future, if and when you would sell the property or it transfers, yeah.
He said that they're just gonna cover for us and nobody else because they don't want somebody else coming in there and maybe not do due diligence like we do.
no, that's fine. I mean, we're not opposed to that at all.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone here in favor of this? Or anyone here opposed?
Nothing on file.
We're gonna go ahead and approve it for you only.
Mhm.
And then once the property changes hands,
It's somebody else's trouble.
somebody else is gonna have to come in,
We're good with that.
okay?
Can you advise as to what our next step is to be able to have this as a street address?
So you'll need to get an official address or an official permit. That'll be for the camper unit. As a transient unit, they'll assign the address at that point, and that way we can document it through the process.
Okay. And this does not change the zoning of it or anything?
Still zoned agricultural. Now, if the taxes are different, I can't answer that. That's up to the assessor's office.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, we're done?
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next case in here is variance 2025-104 for Peter Gorecki. And this petition for variance which permit the construction of a 24 by 24 detached garage, 14.4 feet at the closest point from the right of way is road. Property is located on the east side of C28 E1 lane and 140 feet south of C28 lane in Plain Township. Right there's property in question. We're out on Chapman Lake and right down at the end of C28. What the petitioner is proposing to do is build a 24 by 24 detached garage that'll be 21 foot from the south right of way, 22 foot from the east right of way. Closest point though at the angle, because that tract right there angles off, is 14 foot 4 inches. There's the home in question. Looking dead ends right there down at the channel. You have homes on the south side, panning around. And this is a good instance where sewer is the reason this is happening. Without the sewer, we wouldn't be here. You'll remember we had a hearing on that garage right there with the peaks. Back to the area in question right there is where the garage is built. Next shot, just a little different angle, give you some perspective. Again, 21 foot, and then 14 would be the corner right there. For this hearing, legal I did properly appear in the newspaper and by affidavit, surrounding owners were notified. You're up.
Yes, Pete Garricky here. Yeah, I just want to build a garage. Basically, that shed that you saw there will go away. It's so crammed full of stuff that it's hard to function. So putting a garage there would be a great, well, actually, I'd be able to park my boat in it, which has, for the last 3 years, been attacked by raccoons. And no matter how tight I bind it up, they still get in. Anyway, it doesn't seem to be a problem for anyone else around. It's actually the only house there without a garage. So that's the plan.
It'll be in line with the house on the front and the back?
Pretty much. It's going to be offset to the north just a little bit in order to maintain that clearance with the angle of the road.
And which side will the garage doors be on?
They'll be on the south side.
Thank you.
Okay.
Is there anyone here in favor of this project? Anyone here opposed?
Nothing on file.
Close the meeting, public comment, and then go ahead and approve it as presented.
Okay, thank you.
All right, next hearing here is a petition for exception 2025-45 for Lance German, and this petition for exception for the purpose of allowing construction of an oversized accessory building, 2,704 square foot, where maximum allowed is 1,200 square foot in a residential district. Property is located on the east side of EMS 44 lane and 1,542 feet west of 700 east in Tippecanoe Township. Right there is petitioner's property. Petitioner has 10 acres right there, so that you're seeing the house which sits kind of on the northern end. What we're looking at is an accessory building that's going to be a little further south. Handing around this area is actually accessed by an easement. We've had a number of different hearings back in this area. Right there is where the new proposed building would go. That block building goes. New accessory building, as shown on the site plan, would be what takes the place there. All minimum setbacks are being met based off the site plan. Just the size of the building is what's triggering the hearing. And this goes back down, turns, and then goes back to the petitioner's property, main house right there. It's a little deceiving with the fencing, almost makes it look like this isn't a separate tract, but it is still part of the petitioner's property. Getting around, actually looking at the site plan, I'd say your neighbors may be on you a little bit. Just a hair. For the hearing, legal ad did properly appear in the newspaper and by affidavit. Surrounding owners were notified.
Good morning, Randy. Matt. So Lance German, property owner. So the fence that goes to the east and around is coming down, and we are moving the fence around the property to make it look more like it's ours. We've had the property for close to 20 years now. We bought it from the neighbor, but the existing structure will come down, and we're starting the structure on the existing, I guess it'd be the southeast corner, and then it will actually move to the north 64 feet. And it'll come out another 15 feet further than the existing building.
Personal use only, no business?
No business.
Quarters?
No, it'll just be storage. We have a 29-foot travel trailer. We'd like to park inside because it seems to get more wear and tear to sitting out in the sun and the weather than it does use. And then we have a boat and some implements for our tractor and things we want to keep inside. And the barn the existing structure is starting to show some wear. It's been there since 1965, I think. And the roof needs replaced. It looks kind of run down. So yeah, that's the overall plan anyway. And I've talked to all the neighbors. They seem to be in pretty good opinion of the barn going in. So.
Okay. Thank you. Anyone here in favor of this project? Anyone here opposed?
Nothing on file.
Close the meeting, public comment, and I'll go ahead and approve it as presented.
All right, thank you.
That's
All right, next case is exception 2025-46 for Douglas Harris. And this is a petition for exception for the purpose of allowing a home-based business pier and shore station storage in an ag district. Property is located on the east side of 700 East and 1,333 feet north of Salton Road in Tippecanoe Township. Harris, is anyone here for Harris?
Yes, sir.
All right, come on up. Video-wise, that's what you got, Randy. I didn't go back to the property. It's way back in there. Aerial shot, if you look at the aerial, they're indicating it's all back well contained within the property. We wouldn't have even known it was there except for a complaint we received, public complaint that we received that this was happening. That's what spurred it to the hearing, and that's why we're here today. So, for this hearing, legal ad did properly appear in the newspaper and by affidavit. Surrounding owners were notified. You're on. Go ahead and give us your name.
Ralph Douglas Paris.
Ralph, maybe expand on that. Give us a little idea what's you're storing them back there. Is there anything special to it? Anything? Are there
No, they're just sitting in the open field that's
back
area.
within?
Yeah, they're in that open field there. That field's always mowed and taken care of. Are you running a business out there? Do I have any businesses? Are you running a business out of the property?
Is this rent? You rent this?
I'm
area?
renting it, yes, yes, sir.
Are you the one who's you're taking the rent for the storage of these units and?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so it's not a separate owner. This is him. He's just letting them store their peers and whatnot back there. It sounds like.
What kind of a friendship deal anyhow? I mean, the gentleman that's got the shore stations. Okay, thank you. Is there anyone here in favor of this project? Anyone here opposed?
Nothing on file.
Close the meeting, public comment, and approve it as presented. Thank you, sir. What do I need to do in the future with this?
So if nothing changes, nothing.
Okay.
As long as it still stays.
We know
in
where,
that
I
area,
got you.
no signage. Again, the only reason we knew is because someone told us we needed to take a look. So
I think it was because I built a new pole barn.
I have a feeling it may have been a competitor, but that's just.
Okay, it's okay, whatever, everything's fine.
Yep.
Thank you, gentlemen.
One and a half mile back, yeah. All right, next two we can take together, slightly different questions, same property in question. First is exception 2025-47 for Stephen Wood and his petition for exception of allowing an oversized accessory building on track for ordinance allows 864 square foot in a residential district. Property is located on the south side of Church Street and 172 feet east of Jefferson Street in Plain Township. Along with that, then we have variance 2025-105 for Stephen Wood. Petition for variance to permit construction of residence accessory building 4.5 feet from the west property line. Property is located on the south side of Church Street, 172 feet east of Jefferson Street in Plain Township. Right there's the house on the property in question. You can see the barn in the background. That barn is the structure that's existing, and actually the opposite side is where the addition will go. But this just give you some perspective. We're in the town of Leesburg right here, right next to what used to be the old Leesburg School. That's now the Maple Leaf headquarters. Handing around the Maple Leaf right there. And again, building in the background right there. I'll give you a little different perspective. Back down towards 15. Next shot's going to be from the south side, from the Lions property. Right there's, I'm on the Lions property, kind of give you that back perspective. Ball fields off to the east. And if you can imagine, an addition coming off the south side of that building, that will increase the size. See, that's wind damage right there. The setback is on this side right there. The existing barn is 4.5 feet. What they're proposing to do is come out in line from that side property line, 4.5 feet with the new addition. And picture gives you a good idea of how it's going to come off. For the hearing, legal ad did properly appear in the newspaper and by affidavit. Surrounding owners were notified. We also did reach out to the town of Leesburg and heard back favorable recommendation from all 3 town board members.
Hi, my name's Steve Wood. My wife and Tanya own the property. With the wind damage, we put the addition on. I'm not real fond of heights, thinking addition gives me a platform to work off of to repair the roof and hopefully not fall all the way to the ground.
Okay. Is there anyone in here in favor of the project? Anyone opposed? Town board's all clear on it?
Yep.
They're all in favor of it?
The only question I've had was the maintenance man at Maple Leaf questioning the project. And he said he would inform the owner of Maple Leaf. And I haven't heard anything.
Didn't hear Pete,
But
so.
And we didn't either, so.
And then I talked with Purdy Gunther, owns the vacant lot. We have discussed about purchasing that land once he's tired of gardening and his greenhouse and stuff.
We'll approve it as presented.
Thank you.
So you're good to go.
All right, thank you.
Sure, Tanya doesn't want to see a fall either. Probably not. Most states, yeah. Rules. All right. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, Brandon. All right, next is exception 2025-48 for Camp Adventure, and this is a petition for exception for the purpose of change and alteration of a previously granted exception by allowing the construction of a 12-by-40 lean-to on the existing building in a public use district. Property is located on the west side of 1000 East and 2606 feet north of 450 North in Tippecanoe Township. We are right on the county line, Camp Adventure, and had a hearing not too long ago for addition onto the house, getting garage legal. Now they're back on wanting to put a lean-to on their maintenance building. Right there's the building in question. What they want to do, if I'm looking at it correctly, is coming off the rear, and then so the back side of this building. And only thing it's impacting is their own property. It's all interior, no setbacks at all at issue. There's the main house, a caretaker house right there, cabins around. See those cabins right there. And again, if you can imagine on the back of that building, a lean-to coming off, that will be within at closest 30 foot to one of their own cabins. But again, their own cabins is what they're looking at. For the hearing, legal ad did properly appear in the newspaper and by affidavit. Surrounding owners were notified. You're up.
Nick Yard, I'm responsible for this property. About a year ago, we came in and got a variance to build 2 shelter houses, and then followed that by the extension onto the house, the garage. These were all supposed to be done at the same time, but for some reason, we chose to go through this process 3 times. And so it's a very simple structure. You could see as you pan to the right, there's machinery sitting out. We want to put that under a cover so it's not in view of students while they're there. So that's the whole project.
And we have talked, and if they get a overall master plan, they might be back with one, so we can avoid some multiple hearings. Yes.
Is there anyone here in favor of this project? Anyone here opposed?
Nothing on file.
Close the meeting, public comment, and approve it as presented.
Thank you. Okay. Next case is variance 2025-108 for Diana Tetrick, and this is a petition for variance to permit the construction of residence addition and attached garage 20 feet from the right of way of B42 lane. Property is located on the west side of B42 and 0 feet north of EMS B42 lane in Tippecanoe Township. We're right on the corner of the intersection. Main house is on the property. What they're proposing to do is add on to the west side with a house addition and new attached garage. At closest, garage will be 20 foot, 6 inches from the right of way. There's petitioner's home right there. Lane coming in. You can see how close the house is. Garage and the house addition will actually sit back quite a way. Panning around. Petitioner's existing detached garage And if you can imagine, in this open area right there is where the residence addition would go, at the closest point being 20 foot, 6 inches from the platted road right. For this hearing, legal I did properly appear in the newspaper and by affidavit surrounding owners were notified.
I'm Elmer Miller. I'm the builder, whatever, for this. She wants to add a garage. She's getting older. She wants to add an attached garage, a little bit more living space. And with the depth of the lot, we couldn't move it back far enough so we could make it big enough without the variance, so she could still park a vehicle in it. So that's basically what we're doing.
Okay. Is there anyone here in favor of this project?
We do have a letter on file from a Robert and Lynn Burris that are in support.
Anyone opposed? Close the meeting, public comment, and go ahead and approve it as presented.
Thank you. All right, next one is variance 2025-109 for Brad Raguth. And this is a petition for variance to permit the placement of an accessory building 5 feet from the north side property line and 10 feet from the right of way of the road. The property is located on the west side of E42C lane and 180 feet south of EMS E42P lane in Tippecanoe Township. There's petitioner's property in question. Petitioner actually has property here as well as one across the unimproved right of way. Right of way is a gravel lane that you can see in the video. What they're proposing is to place a new shed 10 feet from the edge of the platted right of way and 5 feet, 5 feet from the north side property line. Here around the property right there, the lane serves as one house, dead ends at the channel, open lots to the north, east, looking back out towards the main EMS lane, one other home back on this lane right there. We've had hearings with that, vacation and a number of different things. Back to this property in question. Next shot's just at the other corner, give you the same perspective. Right there. At one point, we had actually approved for a prior owner a shed on the opposite side. I remember that. Oilers at 1 and 2. For the hearing, legal ad did properly appear in the newspaper and by affidavit. Surrounding owners were notified.
Steve Snyder on behalf of the petitioner. Brad Raguth is with me as well. The reason for the sideline setback is pretty obvious. 5 feet makes sense. The reason for the 10-foot setback from the right of way is because the telephone pole that you see right there is the same distance back from the right of way. So we're not impeding anyone's access, and it leaves more open space between the shed and the house, which makes sense if you're living there. The neighbor to the lakeward, to the end of the road, Patrick Pemberton, I attached a letter from him in support. We want to maintain some consistency. That would be consistent with the Pemberton shed that's already in place. And like I said, nobody's going to drive through that telephone pole anyway. We just like to maintain the open space between the shed and the house.
Thank you. Is there anyone here in favor of this project? Anyone here opposed?
No.
Go ahead and approve as presented.
Thank you. See you, Brad.
Yeah.
You can do that this afternoon, anytime. Planning office, third floor,
All right, next case we can take is variance 2025-111, and this is for James Bowman II. This petition for a variance would permit the construction of a residence addition enclosed porch enclosed porch 19 foot 3 inches from the water's edge. And property is located on the east side of B3 lane and 85 feet west of B3 AR lane in Tippecanoe Township. Right there's property's petitioner's property in question. We're at the end of the lane of B3 lane. What the petitioner is doing, and you can see on the video on the slide, we'll have a better shot on the backside. What they're looking at doing is enclosing a open porch that's existing on the house that currently sits as stated 19 foot 3 inches from the right of way. Handing around Bark Road would be the main road out there. Coming back around. And the next shot's gonna be off the lake side or channel side. Give perspective. Right there, right. That is the porch in question that you're seeing on the site plan that we're proposing to enclose. For the hearing, legal ad did properly appear in the newspaper and by affidavit surrounding property owners were notified.
Steve Snyder on behalf of the petitioner. As you can tell, with the roof already over the existing porch, all we want to do is enclose the porch to create more year-round living space. We won't get any closer to the water than the gutter is at the moment, and it'll just make the property much more livable. We don't have any effect on anyone because we're at the end of the street. Nobody will even notice unless they walk around in the front yard. We had also requested to leave the shed where it is 0 feet from the north property line, but I mistakenly called it 0 feet from the right of way. So I get to bring that one back to you next month.
He hates you because he's never here.
Thank you, Steve. Is there anyone here in favor of this project? Anyone here opposed?
Nothing on file.
Close the meeting to public comment, approve it as presented. Thank you.
Next variance we have is variance 2025-113 for Chris Thompson, and this is a petition for variance to allow 2 uses on 1 tract of ground, hotel and landscaping company. The property is located on the south side of 30 and 360 northwest of Mill Street in Washington Township. Thank you. Do you have the receipts as well?
I don't have them with me.
Okay.
I can bring those into you. That's
Yeah, I will need those as well.
Yes, sir.
All right, pending proper notification. Right there is the site plan and the aerial for the property. Right there on the screen, that's the building the landscaping operation will be working out. As stated, there are 2 uses on this tract of ground. One is a proposed landscaping business that'll be operating out of that brown building. US 30, looking across the Paragon. We're at right there, coming back around to the main, one of the 2 drives into the motel. So the motel is the secondary use on this property. Because we have, at one point we had car sales approved in here. Now they're wanting to do landscaping because of the 2 uses. The uses are permitted use in a commercial district. It's just that we have 2. A little different perspective up into the property. Showing you the elevation change, property in question, fenced in. Now I'm on the back side. Now I'm actually back on Columbia Street, looking down into the property. This is a platted right of way that abuts up to the property. Theoretically, this is a secondary access that could be open if the town of Pearson chose to. And from looking down here, I would not be surprised whether to hearings here or in the near future when the US 30 project moves forward, if that doesn't become more of a reality. Knowing that there will be drives that will probably be shut off eventually. For this hearing, legal ad did properly appear in the newspaper and by affidavit surrounding owners were notified.
My name is Chris Thompson. And we're wanting to put a landscaping shop there. We're a full lawn and landscape company. We plan on putting, over 90% of our equipment inside the shop. There'll be hardly any equipment outside. We plan on possibly putting two like bays, if you will, outside for like maybe just some rock or mulch. We will not be doing any direct sales to the public as far as them coming to our property and buying flowers, nursery stuff, anything like that. We have approximately, 5 to 6 employees, full-time staff. We plan on parking them around behind, I think. That's the goal, just to try and hide as much stuff from the public eye as possible. We don't want to obviously make it look like a terrible looking place. We want to actually improve the property as far as taking care of some of this gravel out here and getting that looking better, because it's in rough shape right now, and we'd like to see it a better property. I laugh because this back fence just looks awful right now, and yeah, so we're looking to obviously make the property look better and take care of the space. Hopefully we can offer some jobs to the surrounding community of Pearston there as well. Trying to think what else you guys have questions on.
You're gonna replace that whole fence?
That's the plan. I don't know what kind of permitting or what we got to do there. I mean, again, I'm very new to this. This is my first time coming in front of you guys. I have no idea. So I make sure we're doing things the proper way. So
currently, no permitting needed for the fencing. Just could be on the property line.
Okay.
And can go up to 6 foot tall.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, that's something we had originally talked with. We don't own the property, we're leasing it from another owner. And we had talked about doing that, obviously for security purposes and just updating the property to make it look better too. So yeah, that fence looks pretty rough back there. So.
And so access to the property, you're planning on US 30 as your main access point?
Yes, sir. At this point, because the town, when I talked to them, because I kind of gave them a heads up of what was going on, and they acted like we were going to try and put a street in from Pearston, and I said, no, we're not doing that. We would like to use access off 30. Again, for our sake, it'd be minimal traffic for us, but again, it's up to you and the board what you decide.
And one thing I'd say is, if so, then the condition this, we have something in writing in DOT, because that could impact the drive.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Well,
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Is there anyone here in favor of this project?
we did talk to the town. Town had no objections. They had some questions on the extending of Columbia Street, and it's platted. It's there, almost within 10 feet of it, but yeah.
Is there anyone here opposed to this?
I did, but I think I was misunderstood too. The town had came to us, and I had sent a letter.
Give your name.
So you're
Nicole
Okay,
Elder.
so we do have the letter from Nicole Elder.
Yeah, so they told us that they wanted to, you guys wanted to come through the dead end.
No.
I'm not opposed to him having a business there at all. I think it's wonderful. That was not my objection. I just, we've lived there for 20 years. I would like it to remain a dead end. We have kids. That was one of the selling points for me, that it was a dead end. The fence, we have always maintained. It's not ours, but a drunk driver went through it at the end of last year. So we were planning, clearly it's not our fence, but we get old fence and try to repair it. And if this was left a dead end, we were going to put the fence back up this spring. So.
But we'll work with you on that.
Okay, we were just, we've always just maintained the fence on our side, but if you're gonna have a business there, you don't want.
You're fine. No worries.
But yeah, I was given the wrong information, and that's why I was opposed to it.
Kinda, and just so you know too, Columbia Street is platted all the way up there, so there's a road that could be opened up. And really
Right, I understand that.
And
The town had
there is a
originally
real
said it was an
possibility of that.
easement at one time.
Not even easement, it's
Okay.
right away, it's road.
Okay,
And there's a real possibility that could happen in the near future. Part of it has to do with the US 30 project that's going through, because one of the processes and goals is to make US 30 a limited access highway, which may cut off access off of those state roads. That's a state project, but I know that was in the works and has been identified as such. And so just know that that could
Right.
happen, and that could happen without public hearing even. That could just happen.
Okay.
So,
So that means it would come up clear through his area too?
Well-
I mean,
here, a second. So here's your house right here.
okay,
Columbia Street, that is the property line.
Right.
It abuts.
okay.
So depending on what would be worked out, and how it would happen, theoretically, right now, that deal,
Okay.
the town would have to approve it, because it is the town street, but it wouldn't take much. So, just so you folks, I don't want.
I've heard something like in the future about that could be a potential.
Future is getting closer and closer every day.
Just so we're clear, we don't plan on doing that, right?
Okay, see, and I've been given wrong information,
That's fine.
so,
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. No
so
problem.
that was I'm completely happy with that.
No problem. If you ever need anything, please reach out to me.
Well, thank you. No, that's,
Take care of it. So,
I think that's
All right.
thank you
wonderful.
very much.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. Real quick.
Thank
so
you.
You're very welcome. You have a wonderful day. So the receipts, that I sent out.
Yep.
And then what else was on the?
A letter, if that's your motion.
Yeah. I'm gonna close it now.
Yeah.
And we'll approve it as presented.
Okay, so what you will need to get us then is a letter from NDOT, and Fort Wayne District is where they're out of, just stating that they've reviewed the drives and that they're okay with the additional business going into the property without any improvements. Now, if they would come back and say improvements need to be made, that's a condition of approval. That whatever improvements they would say, whether it's a turn lane, a passing foot, whatever, that would be part of the conditions.
Do I just contact our office here or?
No, local guys they're just the maintenance crew. So, Fort Wayne District, right there, you can look them up. Or if you can't find them, let us know, we can change contact.
Yes, sir. All right. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Thank you.
All right, next two, we can take together slightly different questions, same property. First, we have is petition for acceptance for the purpose of construction of an oversized accessory building 30 by 36 when ordinance allows 720 square foot in a residential district. Property is located on the northeast side of E42 lane and 0 feet southwest of E42 B lane in Tippecanoe Township. Along with that, we have variance 2025-114 for John and Denise Lowther.
Matt Hauser.
Matt Hauser, thank you. Petition for a variance to permit construction of a detached garage 15 foot from a road right of way. This will be a side load garage. Property is located on the northeast side of P42 lane and 0 feet southwest of P42 E lane in Tippecanoe Township. Video up. Right there is petitioner's property. We are up on the hill, Randy. This property has right of way on both sides. You can see B42 E lane down here. There's some parking. This is kind of the back entrance that comes up, but does access other properties along that way because of the elevation. Looking down, I'm looking to the south. You can see the other homes that are accessing there. Panning around, a business operating there that I don't think we've approved of, but separate issue. Not their property. Back around to the petitioner's property in question, you can see their house, and then down below would be the other EMS lane. It's a little different angle for you. I'm back up in the property now. See, it is a narrow lane. That's secondary, so I knew who I was looking at there to take a look at. But narrow one lane, it comes up and then services those other homes at the back. So if you can imagine 15 foot off of that. Yeah, it's right there. For this hearing, legal, I did properly appear in the newspaper and by affidavit, surrounding owners were notified.
Hi, I'm John Mathausen. This is my wife Denise. This is our property. Currently our summer home right now, but next year it's be our full-time house. We want to clean up the backyard. You saw all the boat trailers and such. I want to have that all under the roof.
John, any way, you know that lane, it's tight.
Hmm?
Any way to push it back more?
I could push it closer to the house
Well,
if
we don't know if we can because we're gonna be coming up to our well,
Could you let me try?
10 feet from our well.
If we could push it closer to that well, I would.
Turn it.
We can.
I'd turn it.
to get more. They,
Might-
and you know that lane.
Yeah.
Someone's coming the other way. You got somewhere to pay.
Oh, yeah, yeah. It's not that many people coming up and down there.
Right
It's,
now,
it's almost like a
more
private.
people Become full-time. I ran into 2 cars while I was there.
Oh, yeah.
What?
And
A month
this-
ago, so.
And the one tree that is over here, it's in your video. It's like, it's actually in the road, so it's technically not ours, but we're gonna take that down. You went.
No, you
go-
messed it
go
up.
back. Yeah. But your truck is right there. It's like that one right there, and probably the other one.
The one closest to the road was
We're
gonna
gonna
come down.
take that down so that that road can get straightened. Our neighbors are already like, oh, that'll be great, because we won't have to like curve around to go around that tree. So we're gonna take those down so that we can straighten that road out. But we,
The one closest to your truck's not even on our property.
right. But we can't do anything about the ones on the other properties,
Right.
you know, because they're,
Admittedly.
and the concrete that's already going into the road is gonna be gone. We're gonna, there's like a little ramp that was there when we bought the place. That's all gonna come up, and that's, you know, we're not putting new concrete down there. I mean, if we can, definitely tilt it to get it a little more than 15 feet. We can, as long as it's,
So right now, you're looking for 15 off of that small access road.
Well, 25 is a minute. Part of a hearing, problem with a hearing like this, your building size and your setback are working against each other. The reason you need the variance is because of the size of the building. If it's a
Right.
smaller building, you need more setback, so these are hard. These are hard for the board.
oh, okay. We wanted to be able to get both boats in for the winter and not have to have them out. And a car.
Yeah.
At least 20 foot.
20 would be consistent. He's showing 15 off the right of way. Now, keep in mind, that's not the edge of the road, that's the right of way. So hopefully you
Okay.
guys know where that property line is back there as well. 'Cause that's where he's gonna need to be measuring off of.
Mhm.
He's showing 15. I think that's what,
Yeah.
you'd be okay with 20 and a size
Go
building?
with 20. I mean, it's supposed to be 25.
Yeah, with sewer.
The only reason we had it that way was to be 10 foot off of that well sitting right there.
Or turn and shift it this way side. Yeah, it's hard to design it that way.
Okay.
But if I go with 20,
You'd be,
off the right of way,
you'd consider 20 and then they can reconfigure it however they need to get with that size building.
yeah.
Okay.
Well, to get that extra feet, I mean, if you would allow that to come 5 feet up that well, as close to 10.
Yeah, is that okay?
Oh, that's the health department. That's the health department that has to make that call.
Okay. well, build it.
Okay.
Nothing on file.
Nothing on file.
Nothing on file.
I'll close the meeting, public comment. And I'll go ahead and approve it at 20 feet.
Okay.
Off the right.
Okay.
And then just let your builder know, and then they'll just need to get a revised plan to us showing what's being done, and we'll work from there.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
We got 2 no-shows. It's up to you.
And
Tomorrow.
no show either.
Who? I know. He was the second no-show, yeah. The last one, yeah. No one's here from McLennan. And then Katzer, who was at the beginning of the agenda, still no one present there. So it's up to you if you want to bump them a month or bump them to tomorrow.
I will bump them on.
Okay.
Since they didn't show up today,
Yeah, I don't know what they're,
I'm sure they got, so they should.
well, yeah, if there's an emergency, I get that, but most of the time there's not. Okay, so these would be bumped to the June 9th meeting, right off the bat. And that's it. Move to.
Hey,
Well done, sir.